Hi, I'm Virginia Todd with Leading Edge, and I've been a realtor for about 10 years. And I'm here today with...
Hi, my name is Linda Bunce. I'm with Movement Mortgage, and I've been a loan officer in the industry for over 30 years.
And we wanted to talk today a little bit about how does a buyer prepare for the future. We both like to work with a lot of first-time home buyers and just wanted to set it up for those that are interested. So the first thing basically is to put a team in place, right?
Yeah, the first thing, if you're a first-time buyer, that I find is that if you are looking on the internet, you're looking at information, right? And information's always good. But if you're going to buy locally to a state, a community, then you really need to have a team in that community. Would you agree with that, Virginia?
Definitely, yeah. A lot of people, because of the online presence, there's so many online companies, especially in the loan department.
Yes.
But they just do not know the local market here in Massachusetts. For instance, in Massachusetts, we are an attorney state. A lot of states aren't.
In New
like
Hampshire, they are not an attorney state.
Yeah.
And then other states are quite different. So it is important, in my opinion, as a loan officer, when I am referred a client, if they've already been shopping online with online lenders, it's quite different when they start to talk to a loan officer like myself who has the experience and won't rush them through the process. And I think that's pretty much what we want to talk about
exactly,
today,
because
right?
both of us, we love to educate, and we love to educate our clients. We want our clients to be well informed, and that doesn't happen overnight. So we're not in it for the short term, we're in it for the long term. So both of us have been working with clients maybe a year, 2 years. I've been up to 5 years.
Well, and to start this, I think an example is probably good. There are buyers who meet with us and they're ready to go and they want to buy within the next week. But there are other buyers that they don't know where to start. And
no, not at all.
If you don't know where to start, you need to start with people that know what they're doing. And how you would do that really is typically you would find Virginia or I through a video or through a referral, because our business, I'm assuming yours is mostly referrals now too. And so we're referred to a client. Sometimes after they've already talked to another mortgage company, right?
Which is fine.
Which is fine. And I love that, because what I find in the industry is that when you are looking online and you're talking to a realtor or a loan officer, I'm finding that they're not giving the amount of time and knowledge that you probably need, that a first-time buyer needs.
Exactly. And first-time home buyers typically like a lot of information. They like to be informed.
Yeah.
So if you found me first, the realtor, my first suggestion is to have you speak with Linda and see what you can be pre-approved for, because we can't really start looking or even talking about what you want or where you're going unless you know how much you can afford.
Correct. So once Virginia or a realtor refer you to me or to a loan officer, the first step really is to get to know you and what your goals are. So, you know, we can be on the computer email and we can be on text, but the most important thing to me is getting on the phone for a few minutes, doing a Zoom call or getting on the phone on a Saturday morning and really learning what are your goals. Who are you? What are your goals? How do we get there? And I help you to get there, and then I get you pre-approved, which we'll talk about, and then Virginia will help you on the other end, which is?
Exactly, is what you're looking for, what you need, where you should look for, what type of property. Sometimes people think they want a multifamily, they end up with a single family, or they think they want a single family, they end up with a condo. But both of us like to educate our clients. So like you mentioned, you do a Zoom consult, and I like to do either in person or a Zoom consult and really walk through the steps.
So the next step for me, if somebody came to me and felt like I was a good fit for them, then again, we would do a phone call, we would do a Zoom call, and I'm asking questions. I want to learn about you. Where do you live now? How much do you pay for rent? Are you living at home? what do you want to do? Like, what communities do you think you want to buy in? And that's important to me because when I run numbers for a buyer to pre-approve them, I need to know what the taxes might be, what the condo fees might be, so that the numbers a client gets are realistic. But once I understand what your goals are, then we start to talk about what is your income? Where do you work? How much do you make? You know, did you just start your job? Well, we probably need to discuss that.
Exactly.
If you're a student and you just graduated from college last May and you just started a new job, we can do that loan. A lot of loan officers say you can't, but you can because your education is your work experience. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, see?
Okay. See, learn something every day.
A 1 year, 2 year, 4 year degree, that is similar to a job.
Yeah.
You worked a job, it got your education.
But what about credit? So like a student,
Yeah.
do they typically have credit? Or again, do you want to find out before they go to college how you can spend 4 years building credit?
Yeah, so first thing we do is job.
Okay.
Second thing we start to talk about is credit. That's a really good point because if you're a young professional and just getting into the industry, right, into your job, into your career, you may not have credit. So that comes up a lot. I always say, even if you think you have good credit, you've looked on Experian, one of the credit bureaus, and it says you have 750 credit score, that's only one of the credit bureaus. That's a whole nother subject we can go over.
Yeah.
But there are 3 credit bureaus, and we throw out the high score, we throw out the low score, and we use the mid score. And what happens is, even though you think your credit is beautiful, when we pull the credit report, there may be things that show up.
Yeah.
Can we fix those things? Of course, right?
And sometimes it just takes time.
It takes time. So I always say to people that I'm talking to, clients that I'm talking to, let's go over all of it. Let's pull the credit. Let's make sure you know every detail of it. And if we have to build credit, there's ways to build credit.
Exactly.
And I can help you to build the credit. I just advised a friend of mine, his son had no credit, how he could build credit.
Exactly.
So you know, income, credit, what monthly bills you have. If you have student loans, if you have car loans, how do we utilize that? We look at the monthly payment. If a school loan's in deferral, which over the last few years, I think you'd agree, with COVID, a lot of people's school loans were in deferment. So if they're in deferment, we still have to use a monthly payment on those. So because eventually you're going to have to pay those.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, you know, so income, credit, so that's part of your debt. And then the other part of it is money, right? I'm a mortgage banker, right? A consultant. Where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
And what am I talking about?
Exactly. Like down payment, closing costs.
Correct.
Yeah. The more of a down payment, the lower your monthly payments are. But sometimes we don't have that money.
Right. So the biggest thing with assets and down payment money is that most first-time buyers think, okay, I need my down payment money. But they don't understand there's another $5,000 to $10,000 on closing costs,
Definitely.
title insurance, attorney fees that buyers have to have.
Exactly.
Do you find that also?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I always say when they tell me, oh, I have $50,000, I'm like, is that it? Is that total? Or do you have an extra $10,000 for closing costs?
Well, and I go a little bit further than that because I'm a lender, right? I want to know what the numbers look like. So what I do with a buyer is, okay, I have $25,000 to work with.
Yeah.
But I want to leave money left over after closing. Because what if you want to put curtains in or you need a couch, right?
Shades.
Shades. So we start to look at how much money do we think we need out of that $25,000? Do you have other money put aside as a reserve fund?
Exactly.
What if the car breaks down, right?
Yep.
So a lot of lenders, they won't do that. They won't look at the future. That's a huge difference, I think, between an online lender and usually a lender locally.
Yeah, because sometimes people, well, I'll work with buyers and they'll be like, oh, I was approved for a huge amount.
Right.
But then you find out what the monthly cost is and that's like, ooh, I cannot afford that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good start, because what happens is once we get the income and the debt, the liabilities off your credit report, now I can start to run the calculator. And this is called the pre-qualification. This is really, what do you qualify for?
Yeah.
And a lot of times young professionals, if they're buying two young professionals together, just got married, getting married, I will say to them, oh my goodness, how wonderful is this? You qualify for $700,000 mortgage and your mortgage payment is $5,000 a month. Is that really what you want to do? Where's their comfort level, right?
Exactly.
Where's
And
their
if you're
comfort
used to
level?
paying a rent of $25,000 or $30,000, that's typically what you're comfortable with your loan mortgage.
So now, you know, as a senior loan officer, as a mortgage consultant, I will say, all right, I already know you're not comfortable at $5,000. Where's the comfort level? Okay, you're paying $2,800 for rent right now. Let's look at what that qualifies you for. Let's step you up a little bit. What does $3,000 qualify you for? And then we talk about, you know, what's your budget? Where do you spend your money?
Exactly.
I think that's really important too.
It is. And I feel like so many people don't even know where their money goes in a month.
Well, I had a client last month and they didn't know where their money went.
Yeah.
And you know where it went? It went to one of the big chain coffee stores. And they, as
How
a
about
couple,
an online big store?
Oh, maybe an online big store. But this couple, they would get 2 coffees each, special coffees, every single day.
Wow.
And if you do that, though, you know, you're talking $3-4 per coffee, right? That's a lot of money per week,
and
per
those
month.
packages that miraculously appear on your doorstep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so we started talking about budgeting. And I think the important thing for a first-time buyer to know, again, I think we talked about at the beginning, is really the fact that it's your time frame. It's the first-time buyer's time frame. It's not the loan officer's time frame.
It's not our time frame.
It's not Virginia's time frame, right?
And I feel that a lot of people get pushed into buying something or doing something they're not comfortable with.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why I take the time to educate my clients. You take the time to educate your clients. So after you tell me how much they're pre-approved for, I love to do a buyer consult with them and sit down with them and like an hour and a half, and really discuss the whole process, the whole buying process, what they might want, what they need, and then go from there. And I find the list that I get at the beginning, don't you find, always changes by the time they actually buy something.
Yeah, and you know, the nice thing is if you work with a team, like a realtor and a loan officer that are working together, is you've already told the loan officer, you've already told me, what you like, what you don't like, and that is being shared with the realtor.
Yes.
And then when you get to Virginia or the real estate agent, you're really narrowing down on what you like and don't like.
Exactly. And then you start shopping online and start looking. And again, it's always good to look online, even if it takes a year or two, but at least you know what's out there. You can get an idea of what's in your price range, how far your money can go.
Right.
How far money-wise and distance-wise too.
Right.
You know?
And what I think is really good that you do, and that a lot of experienced realtors do, is you will look at a property that a client sees online, and the client may think it's the best property ever, right?
I'm going to buy a sight unseen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
and
no.
then most good realtors, experienced realtors, will go and look at the home, call the real estate agent who's listing it, figure out what's maybe wrong with that home, right?
Exactly.
What's good, what's bad. And so that when you do decide to go look at it, and maybe look at it twice, right?
Yeah.
Maybe an open house.
If you can.
And then
Sometimes
with you.
in the market you don't have that choice.
So I think that's really important, because you're not putting yourself in a position where you're calling the loan officer and the realtor, hopefully Virginia and I, about, you know, a month or two later saying, what did you get me into?
Exactly.
You don't want to be in that position as a first-time buyer or as a buyer.
No, I want you to step in and love it, but I also want you to know what you're loving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in fact, I'm showing some clients a house today, and I'm like, oh, I think I was in the house last year, and there was a reason why my other clients didn't like it. So we're going to take a look today and see
Yeah.
what it is.
So I think through the video that we're talking right
Yeah.
now, I think the biggest point we would like to point out is know who you're working with, because there are different philosophies that a loan officer and a realtor have. Some loan officers and realtors are quick. We got to do it now.
Yep.
And others, like Virginia and I, understand that it's your largest purchase in your life, other than
also-
maybe a new car, but
Yeah.
it's your largest purchase, right?
Yeah, and also it's never too early. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't wait till the last minute. Don't be in a rush to buy. I have had clients that are in a rush to buy and they're not listening to the lender, they're not listening to me, and that is never a good ending.
Yeah. The other important thing is it is your time frame. So you are the one who sets your destiny on purchasing a new home. Again, it's not the loan officer, it's not the realtor.
No.
So you decide when you want to buy, and then we become part of that purchase team for you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Virginia Todd with Leading Edge.
And I'm Linda Bunce with Movement Mortgage. Thank you again for listening to us. Hope we can help you in the future.
Take care.